last thing that any bank wants is to have any of its portfolio companies in financial trouble. For over 25 years, Avant Advisory Group is privileged to have been referred by many banks and other lenders throughout the country. Here's an interview of a senior bank special assets officer who, for confidentiality reasons, will not name the company, but I believe you're going to find his comments valuable.
This is kind of applicable to my previous role. There's really two. It was really like it's a troubled asset, or and we want out of it, or it's a company that it needs help for a time, and the help they need is beyond the scope of what management's capable of doing. Also, a lot of times it's when we really need kind of an inspection of what's going on. I mean, we can't be there to go through all the books and records and all of that.
As we heard, bankers with a troubled asset need a very clear and independent objective analysis that goes deeper than just traditional financial analysis.
We can go so far in understanding a company's industry, but they have to understand a little bit of the regulatory framework that we're operating under as well. So, I mean, it comes down to cash flow a lot of times, and if the cash flow is not there, it becomes a credit that's going to be difficult for the banks to maintain on a kind of a regular basis. Sometimes companies are asking us to either extend more capital or keep capital extended, but it really starts to look more like equity risk, where you're asking us to put capital out or keep this money out, although things have changed. And a lot of times, they're telling us a story of why it's going to be okay, but there's a lot of risk there, and we don't own equity in the company, so we don't share in that upside if everything goes really, really well.
We were interested to learn what special criteria asset workout officers use in making recommendations to the board or senior management of troubled companies.
You probably want to look for a firm that has experience in the industry, understand some of those industry dynamics, what's going on with the in-market demand for whatever product or service that the company's providing. And then I think also just, somebody that's personable, right? Somebody that can go in and they probably have a tough job to do, but they can be firm, but be kind of empathetic and, have like intellectual honesty with the company. I think that's what really goes a long way. And I think, Jim Davidson and Avant really did that for us when I was worked with him in a previous role.
This senior special assets officer worked with Avant Advisory on a distressed company that was hit hard by the pandemic after already struggling with other operational and financial issues. Unfortunately, the company had breached its covenant with the bank, its credit line canceled, and it was placed into the bank's special assets group.
What Avant was able to do is kind of go in and really kind of do an inspection and came back with a great evaluation of what was working and what they needed help with, and then a candid assessment of what their ability was to kind of fix some of the things that were wrong. In my opinion, it went well. I mean, I think Avant got in there, really got under the hood, got into the mechanics of the company. They saw some things that they weren't doing well. They saw some things that they were doing well, and the things that weren't working right, they were very honest and direct with the company about it, and they made the recommendations. And I'd say for the most part, the company did a good job of fixing what they were able to.
Without detailing the specifics because of confidentiality restrictions, working together with the Avant Advisory team and the company's senior management, the company's turnaround was so successful that the bank reopened the company's credit line and restored the relationship with the company on favorable terms.
In my honest opinion, had this company not engaged with Jim Davidson and Avant, things wouldn't have gone as well, and the bank would have been looking for an exit. And I really think it was Avant and Jim Davidson that came in and opened up the communication and brought transparency to the situation that allowed the bank that I was working for at the time to continue with the relationship.
In closing, because the turnaround encompassed so many things, including strategy, operations, and financial, which were candidly and transparently shared with both the company and the bank, as well as the needs expressed in a clear and objective manner, this engagement resulted in a true win-win-win for the bank, the company, and Avant Advisory.
I think the biggest testimony to that is I think that the CEO and some of the other the principals of the company I mean, they kept him on. I mean, they wanted him, they looked at him as a consultant, even toward kind of the end of the engagement. And I think that really speaks a lot. I mean, he kind of set himself in as almost a permanent fixture from an advisory standpoint for that company.
I want to thank you for watching. And if this was helpful to you, we'd love to see your comments on this brief success story. And on behalf of Jim Davidson and the entire Avant Advisory Group team, we'd welcome a conversation about how the company can help you.